Should your next, or first, small SUV be a hybrid, a proper self-charging petrol-electric one? Toyota thinks it should be, and wheels out this affordable, trendy Yaris Cross as its answer to segment customers. Expect to see a lot of these.
Under the bonnet, the 1.5-litre full hybrid self-charging petrol-electric power plant here is, of course, the same one which is fitted to the conventional Yaris Super Mini. It's combined with an ECVT auto transmission setup, which Toyota has much improved in recent times. The combination works brilliantly well in urban and suburban driving, where up to 80% of driving can be conducted without burning fossil fuels at all if you're careful with the throttle. In town, the 56 kilowatt electric motor is usually sufficient for propulsion up to about 30 miles an hour, above which the car will switch to hybrid mode, with its ECU deciding whether to use petrol, electric or a combination of both sources. There's an EV button if you want to use electrical energy as much as possible. You'll get about 4 miles of total range from the tiny 0.76 kilowatt hour battery. That can be more quickly replenished if you use the gear stick's provided B setting, and that maximises brake energy regeneration. So, all the advantages of a Yaris Super Mini, nor in its crossover form has the design been spoiled by a bit of extra weight and a bit of extra ride height, as is so often the case when it comes to SUVs evolved from small hatches. You're certainly not going to want to find reasons to take the back way home in a Yaris Cross, but it's hard not to be impressed by the accurate, well-weighted steering, the surprisingly keen corner turn-in, and the minimal body roll through the bends. It's quite well damped too, a bit on the firm side perhaps, but not to the extent that you'll crash over potholes and speed humps. You can even have a four-wheel drive version which gets more sophisticated rear suspension and an additional electric motor on the back axle. This communicates electronically with the electric motors up front to provide extra grip and stability when you're pulling away and cornering, plus extra safety too when driving on slippery surfaces. This light all-wheel drive I setup doesn't penalise you very much in terms of WLTP-related efficiency. On the front-driven model, there's a combined cycle return of up to 64.2 miles per gallon and a CO2 reading of up to 100 grams per kilometre. Imagine a Yaris Super Mini with crossover pretensions and you might well be picturing something like the car we have here, although this is more than just a version of Toyota's little hatch with a few SUV panels attached. This Yaris Cross is actually 240mm longer and 20mm wider than its more familiar showroom stablemate, and it sits 95mm higher. And we might add, it looks better in the metal than it does on a screen. There are some nice design touches too, like the wide rear haunches with their C-shaped character lines, the diamond-shaped roof, and this angled lower black sill strip with its smart insert. From the front, the look is distinct. This Cross model adopts a signature design feature for Toyota SUVs, the way the upper and lower grilles form two stacked trapezoidal shapes. The rear is defined by a wide tailgate, emphasised by this full-width red reflector strip above a square central section, which is supposed to emphasise the car's functionality. A Yaris then with big ideas. Let's see how many of them we can find inside. Take a seat and you've basically got a front of cabin experience which is lifted straight from the Yaris Super Mini. The slightly raised driving position and the area interior feel though make this seem more like a car in the class above, so it's appropriate that in most models the 7-inch instrument binnacle screen is borrowed from a Corolla in the next segment up. It's all a product of Toyota's French design studio in Nice, but the stylists there haven't been allowed to go further and create the jaunty, more expressive cabin design you might hope for in a car of this kind. Connectivity has taken a step forward, or at least it has in top models that get the brand's latest 9-inch HD Toyota Smart Connect central screen, which includes a built-in SIM card, over-the-air updates and connected cloud navigation. This older 8-inch monitor is less sophisticated, but still includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone connectivity, and most of what you're likely to need. Storage provision is reasonable too, with both the door bins and the glove box being of a decent size. Okay, let's take a seat in the back. We're particularly impressed with headroom, although you might want to try before you buy in this regard if you embellish the car with the optional sky view panoramic roof. Otherwise though, a couple of 6-footers would be fine here, and if they needed to insert a child between them, that'd be okay given the relatively small size of this central transmission tunnel. This powered hatch, which can work with this kick action sensor, only features with top spec trim. Once everything's raised, up to 397 litres of space is available in a front-driven model, which is 111 litres more than you'll get in a Yaris Super Mini, and a significant amount more than you'll get with this car's full hybrid rivals in this class. The big ticket item, if you can stretch to this top level of trim, is Toyota's smart cargo system, which isn't actually that smart. It's just a 60-40 split deck board, which permits part or all of this floor section to be lowered, so larger and taller items can be carried. Folding everything flat doesn't release the kind of space you'd find in obvious rivals. There's 1,097 litres of it in a front-driven model loaded up to the roof, but that should be sufficient for the needs of most owners. In some ways, Toyota has never really made the most of its pioneering hybrid technology, but with this Yaris Cross, they can really do so. You could argue, rightly, that not many folk choose a fashion-led small crossover with sensible priorities, but if you were to prioritise those in selecting this kind of car, then this one makes an incredible amount of sense, with genuine 45 to 55 miles per gallon regularly achievable economy. That's thanks to its full hybrid powertrain, the kind of engine the brand's able to offer here more affordably than you'll find in direct rivals, and a trendy vibe thrown in too. Now, you could argue that 20 years ago the original 3-door RAV4 pioneered this class of car, but the brand never properly capitalised on that model, instead bringing us quirky but unappealing small lifestyle products like the Yaris Verso and the Urban Cruiser. The RAV4's modern-day successor, the CHR, has found favour, but it's too expensive for most Duke and Puma folk. The Yaris Cross should suit their needs more precisely, and if it does, it'll suit Toyota even better.